What's going on, fellow ghosts, gamerheads, anime nerds, and renegades? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Raven37 Actual, aka Raven37 Active Fool. 2 zeros, not O's, aka Mr. Old Minds in the chat, aka Raven. And tonight I am back with a little bit of a different sort of video. We do have Ren, and we also have Hobo Johnson, but the theme of tonight's videos is stories that make you go and the reason for that is because recently when I was recording a reaction, I saw this thumbnail pop up in like the little section that says, if you like this video you might like these, and so I just immediately clicked it to the watch later playlist. But then I actually took a look at it because, as you can see from the thumbnail, it just looks like it's an album cover. But then I took a look at the actual video, just like scroll through it like this, and I saw that it was an actual video. So that piqued my interest. I think Ren is a very astute storyteller. So when I saw that he had written a piece, it's 8 minutes and 51 seconds long, so it's a pretty decent sized piece, but it's obviously something he cared enough about to create this whole sort of, because Ren is a real storyteller, so if he created this whole piece about this, it probably has some very poignant meaning to it. So I definitely wanted to take a look at it. And also, while we were on the subject of storytelling, I had another video by Hobo Johnson. Shout out to those of you who started listening to Hobo Johnson. Lisa Zakeo, looking at you. Since I started recommending him. But he has a song, or it's not a song, it's actually just a story called You and the Cockroach. It sounds weird, I know. It'll make sense when the story is being told. But right now, just know, I feel like I need to preface this video by just saying that I don't really dig deep into politics or religion. I just feel like they're really divisive topics right now. I'm really of the mindset of just live and let live. If we could be friends and I not know that about you, and if knowing that about you could possibly make us not be friends, then I just rather not know. So I'm very much, I try to keep it light, try to keep it about the music and about the topics that the music entail. It just so happens that today's videos happen to entail two different subjects that I don't really talk too deep about, and I won't delve too much into personal stances on things in regard to that, like respect to everybody religion, everybody politics. That is your own. More power to you. All I want to do is just examine these two stories and see the juxtaposition between these two as storytellers, and also get you guys' opinion about the story of Eden and You and the Cockroach, because I feel like the story of Eden is a reference to the Bible, so that's going to be like the beginning times. And as you'll see from You and the Cockroach, it is a song I'm familiar with. I've never seen a video for it, but I am familiar with the song because I'm an avid Hobo Johnson fan. But you'll see that story is sort of leaning towards endish, like the end type thinking, I guess you could call it. You'll see as when the video plays. But first, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the story of Eden to just see what Ren has to say. Like I said, he's an amazing storyteller, so we're going to get right into it, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. But let's go.
Story of Adam and Eve.
Oh no.
It starts you a story. Let me tell you a story as old as time. The story of Adam and Eve. It starts with a God who wanted more. God had just created the heavens and the earth. He had the angels by his side, but they had no will of their own, and so the autonomy to love or reject him was never theirs. All but for one, the once called bringer of light, Lucifer, morning star. Lucifer was the fairest and most intelligent of all the angels. He was the closest thing to God's image, and in his likeliness, Lucifer felt restless. He began to question and doubt God. He doubted the hierarchy opposed upon him. He felt God was arrogant. In his frustration, Lucifer built a throne that stood even above God's and declared mutiny. A war ensued. God, being all-powerful, came out the victor and banished Lucifer from the heavens and exiled him to earth. Once again, God was alone with his power. Perhaps from loneliness, perhaps from curiosity, perhaps from a desire to share love, God began to work on his greatest project yet, a being that would mirror himself, the human, two humans specifically, Adam and Eve. They were placed inside a paradise built for them on earth, the Garden of Eden. In the garden, God placed a tree that bared fruit that would grant anyone who ate it powers bestowed only to a God, to tell good from evil, left from right, to live righteously or to sin. He named this the tree of knowledge. God told Adam and Eve they could eat whatever they wanted in the garden, but never the fruit from the tree of knowledge. And if they disobeyed him, it would be punishable by death. The basic way the story of Eden is told is that Eve was tempted by Lucifer in the form of a serpent to eat a fruit from the tree of knowledge. Convinced, she bit the fruit, she passed it to Adam, and he did the same. Suddenly, ultimate knowledge filled their minds, and they realized they were naked and felt shame. God discovered this betrayal and felt angered. He exiled Adam and Eve and cursed them with the life of a mortal. They would work, they would bear children, and they would die. The fate of a human. Now look deeper.
In the story, the serpent tempted me by telling me I would gain ultimate knowledge and that God would spare me.
Both were true.
This wasn't some great deception, meaning that Satan, in the likeliness of God, perhaps understood his intentions. In fact,
the only lie uttered in the
Garden of Eden was
by God, who did not end up
condemning
Adam and Eve to
death.
This could be seen as an act of
mercy, but the sheer fact that the tree existed and that humans
were initially cut off from this knowledge
may imply some part of God was afraid that if humans were granted the gift of perception, they, like Lucifer, would have the power to reject him too. The fact that there stood a beautiful tree that could
grant this knowledge in the first place
implies that a small part of God.
I gotta make it transformative. So that is the one part of that story that has always piqued my curiosity because of human nature as I know it to be. It's just that thing about like your mom tells you don't touch a hot stove. You are gonna want to touch that hot stove just because of human nature, because you were told to touch that hot stove. So it's just always piqued my interest as to why I put the tree right there in front of them and just be like, you can do whatever, but just don't do this one thing, because then it plants that seed of what happens if I do. I don't know. It just always seemed like a really interesting test, and that was a part of the story that really caused me great consternation when I first heard the story of the Garden of Eden. And so it's interesting to see this introspection or Ren's interpretation of like look deeper, because there's always two sides to every story, right? What we hear from the traditional tale is one side, but there's also, you know, the alleged perpetrator's side of the story as well. So this is pretty interesting. It's really heavy. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't prepared for this. Usually I'm sitting here bobbing my head and vibing and shit like that, but I'm paying attention to it, and it's extremely interesting and introspective, but at the same time it's really heavy. So apologies, everybody. I don't mean to like displease anybody or anything, but this was something I was interested in because it was him telling the story, and so far I have been really engaged in the story, but I had to pause it to make it transformative because I realized this whole entire time I hadn't paused it once. So yeah, that was just one thing that stood out to me, was like the tree was there, and then they were told like, don't touch it, which sort of planted the seed of like, what happens if I do? It just seemed like a point of conflict for me when I first heard this story. But Ren is now explaining from, it seems like, Eve's perspective. So let's hear what Eve has to say. Go back. Yeah.
Tree that could
Grant this knowledge in the first place.
implies that a small part of
God, supposedly all-knowing,
perhaps wanted and intended
the humans to
bite too.
In the Bible, Satan was an exiled angel of free will. Humans are exiled
descendants of Adam and Eve.
also with free will. Not only have we shared a similar fate to the devil, we were also both constructed in
We
the
were
image of
also
our
both
Creator,
constructed in the image of our Creator.
meaning our behaviors, in some shape or form, imperfectly echo His.
We could assume that this kind of
God has his doubts,
But-
but as the most
powerful being,
Being in the universe
he has no one above him
to turn to with questions, and no one to
Doubt but himself, an incredibly lonely and isolating existence.
We must only assume that the common thread between God, Lucifer, and us is the desire for more, an eternal curiosity, a desire perhaps birthed from a seed of loneliness. If not, why would we exist in the first place?
Exactly. Like, curiosity is what makes us, I mean, despite, it being one distinguishment, like, posable thumbs aren't what make us, like, didn't help us get to the top of the food chain. It was our curiosity, it was our innovation, and our ability to, like, adapt and use our minds to overcome our physical limitations. And so, like, what are we if not our curiosity? That's a very poignant part he put into there. I want to hear a little bit of that one more time.
Common thread between God, Lucifer, and us is the desire for more, an eternal curiosity, a desire perhaps birthed from a seed of loneliness. If not, why would we exist in the first place? The constantly looping bittersweet irony is whether gifted by some omnipotent God or simply a byproduct of billions of years of evolution, here we stand in 2023 as creatures with free will, the only creatures that understand and define good from bad, creatures with the potential of a God. And what do we do with that free will, my friends? We willingly walk to the edge of a cliff. In the name of progress, we jump off the precipice.
Yeah,
The empires
I was just gonna say, I was getting real Sick Boy vibes from that part, and then he said the line from Sick Boy. That's crazy. Oh man, this has taken a leap. I mean, already we done switched over to a straight out of Call of Duty scene. Like, this shit is, or it's more like Battlefield, because they set up in platoons and shit. But like, no, this is really heavy. And like I said, I hope nobody is displeased or anything by my commentary on the video. I'm just trying to keep it as transformative as possible. I know religion is a sensitive topic, so once again, respect to everybody. I don't have no interest in excluding anybody because of their beliefs, because I'm of the opinion that a belief can't be wrong, or an opinion can't be wrong. If that's your opinion, I mean, then that's yours. So respect everybody's opinions on whatever side of the religious issue. I know there's some people that are agnostic, some people that are Christian, some people that are Buddhist, some people that are Muslim. Respect to all you guys. Whatever you believe in that helps you get through this crazy ass fucking shit that we call life every day, more power to you. I cannot stress that enough. But enough of my yapping. Sorry. Transformative. Y'all know.
free will, my friends. We willingly walk to the edge of a cliff. In the name of progress, we jump off the precipice. The empires we build ravage the earth. The natural order of things are necessary to survive. Any systems which do not honor homeostasis eventually perish. Our free will overrides our own biological instinct. We can take more than we eat, We can kill more than we need. We can willingly create weapons with the potential to burn everything we've built to the ground. We willingly decide to bow at the altar of greed, the most insidious and destructive of all sins. We put our faith in corporations who pose as rulers. We willingly allow ourselves to be led by outdated power systems ran by corrupted politicians
and bloated dictators who claim domain and dominion over an open and free land.
We willingly elect the corrupted when the decision was always ours to build something better. We willingly create and impose separation because of beliefs that we are force-fed through our phones and television sets. We always had the will to reject these things, but we adhere to them as though they were the laws of physics.
He just said it better than I could put it in any kind of terms, bro. Like, you are more than just a label, what you believe in, like your political status, your religious status. Like, you are so much more than that. And so, like, I choose not to adhere to that shit as heavily as I see a lot of people do these days. So, yeah, shout out to Ren for putting it more eloquently than I ever could.
Ran by corrupted politicians
and bloated dictators who claim domain and dominion over an open and free land.
We willingly elect the corrupted when the decision was always ours to build something better. We willingly create and impose separation because of beliefs that we are force-fed through our phones and television sets. We always had the will to reject these things, but we adhere to them as though they were the laws of physics. War, famine, pestilence, greed, these aren't things imposed upon us by an all-powerful God or by his demonic adversary. They are here because of us, not because of free will, but because of our inability to use it. We must be motivated to be better, not out of fear of punishment of an eternal damnation, but because the choice exists, because we love ourselves, because we have the power to absolve ourselves of so much unnecessary suffering. Take a second to be in this very moment. In this moment, how much suffering is happening all over the planet right now? How many people are dying of illnesses that could have easily been cured, but aren't because of the selfishness and greediness of humanity? How many people break their backs and reject their own passions to simply afford bills and food? How many of us crave distraction from existence? How many of us numb that pain in whatever way necessary? How many children are being abused? How many people sleep cold and hungry on the streets? How many of us become cogs inside a machine that is destroying itself? How many soldiers have been forced to fight in meaningless wars? How many humans have killed for ideals they don't believe in or understand? How many people have died for the greed of another man? And how much of this was avoidable? As written in the Bible, Satan was not condemned to hell. Satan was condemned to earth. He lives there amongst other creatures with free will, who always had the choice and still chose their own undoing. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our self-made hell. The bittersweet irony is this is a creation of our own design. I'll leave you with this. Consider what you have done here today. You have worked together as individuals collaborating to form a giant neural network, a hive mind capable of achieving incredible things. We have lent on each other's strengths to solve puzzles and decipher riddles, and we've done so to win money. Imagine applying that same spirit and determination to creating the closest thing we have to paradise here on Earth. By using the power of collaboration, we can work together to even the playing field for everybody. Our dystopias can become utopias. Our Jahannams can become Jannah. Our hells can become heaven, right here on Earth. And this sentiment applies to atheists, agnostics, and believers alike. Myself, I'm an agnostic who believes. I believe in us. We must do better because we can choose to. We must be better simply because the option exists. Thank you.
Damn. Well, that was a lot. But I can't say that I disagree with anything that he said. Like, we have the free will to be better. And it's such a shame to see my fellow man every day choose to, allow baser instincts override general goodwill, and that's why random acts of kindness are just so rare and few and far between these days, is because the amount of distrust and discourse there is in human society. That was a really poignant story, and I'm glad I listened to it. I know it wasn't my usual thing on this channel, but it definitely allowed me to think about some thoughts that I hadn't necessarily been able to eloquate myself. But as I said several times through the video, Ren definitely relayed the way I feel, like 110%, like 100%. The last line that stuck with me was, "I'm a believer. I believe in us." And you know, at the end of the day, that's what this channel is all about. Like, all the positivity and the support is because it's reciprocated. Like, all y'all who come and say y'all like to hear my thoughts on these videos, and you like waking up and drinking coffee and listening to me and stuff like that, that's much love right back. I enjoy waking up and having comments to respond to, and being able to chat with you guys and find out what your likes and dislikes are and things of that nature. So just like you guys sub and comment and support, and it's as a way to show that you believe in me, I believe in y'all too. And that's why I just really I'm really thankful for the community that I have, and I'm really thankful for the artist that Ren is, because he can touch on things like, you think about the tale of Violet's tale and everything that was transpired in that story, and Jenny and Screech, to be honest, you know what I mean? Or Money Game Part 3. He can tell a tale that is really uncomfortable, but you will listen to that story and you'll take something from it. And that's genius in a nutshell, you know, because this wasn't even music. This was more like a spoken word sort of poem thing, but at the same time, it was a message and it was an idea. Earlier I misspoke when I said a belief can't be wrong. A belief system can be wrong. Especially if your beliefs are based on subepidermal shit, like subsurface shit, like politics or religion. If your belief system is standardized on that, it can most definitely be wrong. But what I choose to believe is that it's better to have an idea, because an idea can change, an idea can evolve, and an idea can improve. And so I do have an idea, similar to what Ren said, that there's something more than this. I just don't know what that is, if that makes sense in any kind of way. But yeah, this was an incredible story. Some very poignant perspectives were displayed throughout the entirety of the song, especially, you know, him covering how we are the masters of our own undoing ultimately, and we have the power to change it because we have the power of free will. So it was a really empowering piece towards the end, but it was definitely covering some really uncomfortable topics. But, you know, I'm glad I listened to it, you know, and shout out to Ren for being brave enough to speak truth to the power, which is the power of greed. It feels like at this point, like greed overpowers a lot of people's rational thinking these days, and it's such a shame to see. But with that being said, we're going to move on to our second story, and that is going to be Hobo Johnson, You and the Cockroach. I know some of you guys only tune in for the Ren stuff. I guarantee you this one is going to be something. That's all I can really say. It's going to be something. Alright, here we go. Hobo Johnson, You and the Cockroach. It's not quite as long as eaten, but it's still a story. So, yeah, we're going to check it out. Here we go.
Okay, picture this. There's this cold floating rock, right? And at the bottom of the rock, there's this ocean. At the bottom of the ocean, there's these little teeny amoeba, right? And after millions of years, these amoeba, they start turning into fish and swimming around. I don't know how it works, but it does. So these amoeba, the amoeba fish are swimming around until one day one of these fish was like, you know what? I fucking hate the ocean. It sucks. It's cold. It's wet. I'm done. I'm done. So he grabs these fucking little things, they're called hands and feet, and he connects them to his body, and he crawls out of this ocean, right? And when he gets onto the bank, guess what he sees? He looks around, he sees a female fish, and she's beautiful. Oh my God, stunning. So they talk for a few days, and they start, after a few days, they start mashing parts, because that's what happens, right? So they mash parts, and then all these babies get born. And after millions of years, these babies shed their scales, shed their fins, until they start standing upright. And one day, their brains get so big that they understand these really scary concepts. And one of the concepts is that they're going to die. And what's scarier than knowing you're gonna die? Nothing to me. So
Same. I mean, what's scarier than knowing? I mean, as I've reached the age where I realize I'm not invincible, and my bones creak a little bit more every day and do things. My body complains in ways that it didn't used to. I definitely become more aware of my mortality with every day. And especially like if you've been following the channel, just things that have happened over the past year in my life have definitely made me more aware of my mortality. And so, yeah, the thought has crossed my mind, like knowing that at some point you will just not be here anymore. It's really scary, even though I do believe it's something else than this. After, like this isn't it. I don't know what that it is, like I said before. And so it's the unknown, and the unknown is scary. So you don't want to look into the unknown. When you stare into the abyss also stares into you type shit. So you definitely don't want to like peer into the unknown, so to speak. So yeah, he's telling a really fast-paced story, but I hope that you guys can, if I rewind it enough, you guys can get the gist of the story, and maybe you'll go back and listen to it a little bit. But he's definitely telling a really fast-paced, but at the same time very analytical story, and it's cool to see the way he's telling the story juxtaposed to the way Ren tells the story. But let's go back just a little bit more.
what happens, right? So they mash parts, and then all these babies get born. And after millions of years, these babies shed their scales, shed their fins, until they start standing upright. And one day, their brains get so big that they understand these really scary concepts. And one of the concepts is that they're going to die. And what's scarier than knowing you're gonna die? Nothing to me. So one day, this guy's like, you know what? I'm gonna create something that makes me not afraid of dying, right? So he comes up with it, and it's actually called this thing that you may know as, it's called religion. And this religion causes a bunch of conflict. Bang, bang, bang. That's literally what it sounds like. So with all of this conflict, I understand they need some order, so they create this thing called government to keep each other in line. But guess what? It actually doesn't happen like that. Guess what it creates? It creates a bunch more conflict. Oh my God. And out of all this conflict arises a president. And this president is orange. He's got orange hair. It's parted to the side. It looks really dumb. He's chubby, and he's got little sausage fingers. They look like little Smokies. I personally love little Smokies. Either way, he starts arguing with his leader on the other side of the world. He's got a bowl cut. He's similarly pudgy. He's got sausage fingers too. I don't know what it is with guys with sausage fingers, but it messes their minds up, right? So they start bickering like little children. One day, the guy with the orange hair is just like, you know what? I'm gonna fucking do it. I got a small dick. I ain't got nothing to lose. So he gets his thing, and he presses the button, and it just goes. Bang, 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 What's the only thing that survives nuclear war? Everyone say it on 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. Cockroaches! So the cockroaches are really...
And there we have it. So now you have the the exposition as to why I said Ren's story dealt with the beginning, and Hobo Johnson's story sort of deals with the end. because of the whole nuclear war aspect, and then like the only thing to survive the nuclear war is the cockroaches. And now we see the cycle of what life looks like starting over from nothing. Look, how that looks. So this is a really interesting. Well, we don't have to go back that far, but this is a really interesting portrayal of like one of those what if scenarios that's extremely horrifying. Don't get me wrong, it's right up there with knowing you're gonna die. Is the fact that there are guys that have codes to missiles that could just destroy the planet. No questions asked. They shot theirs, we shooting ours. This whole motherfucker going up in flames. That is insanity. It's horrifying. And I don't know, man. It's just it's just a lot to think about. But at the end of the day, that's what they say, is that if it do come down to that, like a nuclear war, the only thing that will survive is the cockroaches. So we're going to see if the cockroaches get a chance to spin the wheel and see how their opportunity turns out. Shall we explore? Let's do that.
What's the only thing that survives nuclear war? Everyone say it on 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. Cockroaches! So the cockroaches are really small, but after millions of years, they start getting bigger. Then one day, they start losing their fucking shells and losing their fucking antennas. And then they fucking brains get so big, they understand these really scary concepts. And the concepts out there are going to... But guess what? They don't want to die, so they create this new thing called... But it creates a newer thing called... So they need to protect each other, so they create... But then it creates even more... Oh my god! And out of the conflict arises this fucking president. And he's a cockroach. He's a little small boy. And he gets really fucking... insecure about his place in the world. Ha ha ha. Classic. So he finds some guy to project onto, and they start bickering, and he bickers and bickers. The other guy's like, fuck you. The other guy's like, fuck you, motherfucker. But he has to go to his top cockroach scientist, because guess what? Nukes don't fucking work on cockroaches. It bounces off them like a soft ocean breeze. So the president he's like, okay, I'm gonna do it. So he devises a new missile. He talks to his top cockroach scientist. Imagine that, a big human-like cockroach in a fucking lab suit with glasses on. So he fucking tells him, he's like, we need a missile that kills cockroaches. So the scientist's like, okay, I got it. It's gonna be a missile. And on the end of the missile, instead of a nuke, it's one giant. President, it's a giant. It's a giant. Shoot. Classic.
I mean, we just trying to chill.
This animation is crazy.
Or, like, floss our shit or anything like that. We just came to chill and have fun. And I guess that's what life's all about. Let go.
Oh man. Crazy story, and it also is just a really introspective look in like how we as advanced societies can over time forget the mistakes of previous advanced societies and make the same mistakes over and over again. It's like generational trauma, but on a much grander scale, because it goes from nuclear war to the fallout of it to a new society rising, which then repeats the same sort of... it's just crazy. But, yeah, it's definitely two thought-provoking ass stories. And despite the religious and political undertones, I definitely got... fulfillment from listening to both of these stories and being able to share my thoughts on them with you guys. Once again, shout out to you guys if you made it this far in the video. I know this is like different. We got new Skinner Brothers and Ren stuff coming up. We got big push stuff coming up over the next I think few months. So it'll definitely be, a lot of more music. But these were just two. When I saw Eden and I realized it was like a story, I realized I wanted to pair it with You and the Cockroach, because I realized that they were two very thought-provoking stories that maybe you guys would like to listen to in conjunction with each other, especially the hobos and hopefully a few of my fellow renegades in the outfit. But yeah, it was extremely anxiety inducing, thinking about the ramifications of like what it would mean to have that happen, like the planet starting from scratch, what the implications of that, beyond anything I can honestly imagine, man. But it was definitely thought provoking, and I don't know. Yeah, I just appreciate you guys taking the time to check this out with me. If you made it this far in the video, I definitely recommend you hit that subscribe button. Got a lot of more Ren content coming up. Like I said, the Big Push content coming up. Got some Romaine Caesar solos and stuff I want to cover. Live acoustic performances, of course. And, you know, just a bunch of other artists I'm hopefully going to be able to introduce you guys to over time. And we can sort of build our catalog and build the outfit together. Right now we at 735. And people keep subscribing by the day. So, you know, it's just a really cool experience to see everybody coalescing on the channel and having, you know, fun listening to music, listening to thought-provoking songs, and in this case stories, and being able to, you know, talk about them in the comments and just come together and vibe, you know what I mean? So this was definitely a thought-provoking set of stories, and I'd like to know what you guys thought of them down in the comments. Like I said, if you made it this far in the video, I definitely recommend you hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications so you know the next time I drop another video, which will probably be tomorrow. Shout out to Lorraine Dennison. They wanted me, and Kathleen Baggs, they wanted me to do the Nas halftime retake and Genesis acoustic version, I believe. So I'm gonna try to get them into a video for you guys. So shout out to them. And yeah, I'll go ahead and wish you guys a safe, happy, healthy morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is when you're seeing this. And if you enjoyed the video for whatever reason, definitely recommend you click on one of these over here. But for now, I'm going to wish all you guys a safe, happy, healthy morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is when you're seeing this. I'll catch you on the next one. Till then, stay safe, stay frosty. I'll catch you on the flip side. Actual out.